Early in the morning this week, I got a message from Jayce Raaschou. He was at the Nojour Road boat ramp just a short distance down the road from my home. "Hey Christopher, I'm launching in the Maroochy and I was wondering if you'd be interested in checking out my boat." I hadn't met Jayce before, but I was following his journey on Facebook as he set out to get hold of a cooter boat. He found one in Robe, South Australia, had it transported up to the Sunshine Coast, where he was in the process of fitting her out. I was pretty keen to get a closer look at Pioneer, as he had christened her. I dropped the project I was working on, and within 10 minutes, there she was in front of me. Jayce had already managed to stand the mast up on his own. Pretty impressive for a 65 kilogram 17-year-old, but there is much to be impressed about in this young man. Jayce invited me to join him on the river, and of course I couldn't resist the opportunity to ask him a few questions and video the shakeout on the Maroochy River.
It's Western Red Cedar, so it's like 1 inch square planks, bead and cove, and it's got 400 double bias epoxy on the inside, epoxy glass on the inside, and 600 double bias on the outside. So it's quite a strong little boat. The stern post, keel, forefoot and stem are all Kapur. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And then the floors are 2 laminations of 12mm plywood, so 24mm thick floors. So for a strip plank boat, it's way too strong. So the stern tube, I guess you call it, that's one long cutlass bearing inside a fiberglass tube. So it's completely inert and it won't corrode, rust, rot, whatever you want. So that's good for, I'd say, copper ones last 50 years, so why can't that last 100? So the deck is 18mm ply, and it's just got, the normal non-slip on it. I would love a laid deck, but, I don't have the time, the patience, or the money.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the
So I'm here with Jayce Raaschou,
Yeah.
and we're on his cooter boat, 20-foot cooter boat, Pioneer.
Yes, Pioneer.
Okay, so tell us about the history of the boat, Jayce.
So she was built, she's just been finished really. It took a gentleman by the name of Graham, I won't say his last name for his privacy, but he put a lot of work into it. It took him 9 years to get it to essentially ready for the water. Then I've acquired her about 3 months ago, and essentially just done a few things to the engine like a raw water strainer, battery, just simple stuff like that, and then got the boat to a stage where it can be launched single-handedly by me, who is 65 kilos and extremely feeble. And yeah, no, so this is the third time in the water and I'm loving it. Oh, favourite thing about the boat? Probably, I don't know, just it being a cooter boat, and firstly it being my boat that I can take out. That's my favourite thing about the boat, being able to go and enjoy the water whenever I want to. That's the top thing. But my favourite thing about the boat itself, I just have to say the hull. It looks really nice. I really like it. It caught my eye when I saw it online, that's for sure.
Yeah, it really is the true meaning of the word iSweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So for people that don't understand what a cooter boat is, so where did they get the name cooter boat from?
So a cooter boat they were first built in the late 1800s, if my sources are correct, for just general fishing around Port Phillip Bay and down in the state of Australia called Victoria. And they're mainly used for fishing for a fish called barracuda, hence the name. The fish were nicknamed cooters, and so they were just called the cooter boats, in the same way you'd call a prawn trawler, a prawn trawler. So that's how they've got the name. And then, so they were used right up until the war, the Second World War, as sailboats. And then after the Second World War, you started getting inboard petrol engines and inboard diesels. So the rigs got taken off them. And then they were used, I'm pretty sure, up until about the 70s. Some were still in use. And then in the 80s, the mid 80s, I'm pretty sure it was, there was a big resurgence, and they started using them for race boats and day sailors and stuff. In the same way, I think it is the Falmouth workboats, I'm pretty sure they're called, were an old working boat, and now they're a well-enjoyed racer and day sailor. But yeah, they were a pretty widely built boat, and they were very popular because you could use them for netting, barracuda obviously, and all that kind of stuff.
So you're a Queensland boy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Actually, no, I lie. I was born in the UK, so I moved over here when I was 3 because my family are all Australian. I was just born over there, and yeah, so I wanted one of these boats, but because I'm in Queensland, no one has them. And the wooden boats in Queensland, there are a few, but they're not like this, because in New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia you have a lot more ones to choose from. So I kind of knew that I'd have to get one from down there, and I'd probably have to buy it sight unseen, which was a bit nerve-wracking, but I had someone look it over, so I was pretty confident.
In Moreton Bay, they call them something a bit different, but they're similar sort of boats, is that right?
So in Moreton Bay they have the net boats. They're pretty similar looking boats. There was a 24-footer I was looking at buying. Lovely boat, very very similar to this, and they're all Carvel. Most are around 100 years old. There is a newer one called Boxer that was a reconstruction, I think built at Norman Wright's yard. I could be wrong, but that one's a really nice boat. That's been down to the Wooden Boat Show in Tasmania, which is definitely worth the trip. I want to go there someday. But yeah, no, there are a few around the net boats, but they're not as popular as the cooter boats. Not many have survived.
It's quite a journey to first of all find this boat and then acquire it, Jayce. Tell us about how.
Yeah, so I've been looking for a boat like this I'd always been wanting one. I've been wanting one for 5 years. Since 5 years ago I started saving for one. But it was only the last year when I could start looking. So I looked at a few boats. Some I kind of wonder why I looked at, and the others, were definitely ones I liked. But this one just caught my eye. When I started looking, I was looking at things like Hartley TS16s, Hartley TS18s, just because they were great value for money. You could get out in them, you could motor around, sleep in them, have a lot of fun. But then I started looking towards something a bit more guess you could say Harley TS16s are a classic, but I mean something a bit more, 1930s, 1940s. So I turned my attention to cooter boats, but I didn't really want to make a commitment to an 80-year-old boat, have it on a mooring and then not be able to maintain it. I think it would be quite unfair to be inexperienced by a 1930s cooter boat, 1950s cooter boat that's in really nice condition, and just have it fall into disrepair because I cannot maintain it properly. So I knew that I wouldn't really be able to maintain a carvel hull or a clinker hull. Also because I wouldn't want to keep it on a trailer, so it was pretty much strip plank or clinker ply. Personally, I prefer the look of a carvel hull in a bigger boat, so I was looking for more like a strip plank boat around 17 to 23 foot mark. So I started looking at a few. There was a boat, a Howard Chappell designed Hampton style whaling boat down in Brisbane that I went and had a look at, but it was just didn't have enough beam, and it needed a bit more time spent on it than I wanted to put into it. So I decided to keep on looking.
Tell me what are your plans for the future? Where do you plan to sail the boat? Have you got any particular dreams, things that you've wanted to do?
I know I wanted to take her down to the Wooden Boat Festival in Tassie. Not sail it down. No, I'm not that crazy. But just as in things I want to do to the boat, I was thinking of putting a little tiny little cabin on it. Don't know whether I'll do that or not, because I'm pretty happy with the way the boat looks now. I've got to go down and do my wooden boat building apprenticeship, which is in Victoria, and I live in Queensland. Because rent's expensive and I don't really want to pay it if I can avoid it. I want to buy something I can live on, so probably a 30-foot timber cruising yacht of some description, or whatever I can get my hands on. I would happily live on a cooter boat. I just don't think it's very practical. Even one of the 26-footers. So if I end up getting an apprenticeship down there, which I'd like to do because that's where most of the wooden boat building happens there, Tasmania and South Australia.
It's a great plan though, because you're going to be acquiring some skills that there are very few young people in the world even with those skills. And
for sailing, mainly up to Fraser Island, a lot around Moreton Bay. And that's pretty well it. I'd like to take it down to Lake Macquarie, and even around Sydney. That'd be really nice. But pretty much wherever I can go, and whenever I've got the time, I'd like to go places. I mean, I've got my P's, or my provisional license, so I'm on the road. People get out of the way when they see me coming though. I tell you what, that indicator comes on and people scat. So yeah, just pretty much around the coast, because I'm local to Mooloolaba. So I've got the bay, I've got Noosa River, Maroochy River, Palmerston Passage. Moreton Bay is a 40-minute drive. I can get to the northern part of Moreton Bay. I'm pretty lucky up here. There's lots of spots to go. So, yeah.
So I'm thinking we might be able to get enough people interested in doing a raid down the Palmerston Passage. Would that be something that you'd be interested in?
I'd definitely be interested in that. Once I get some sails on the boat, that'd be great. Even if I have to go as a motorboat.
I like the idea that if you got a row, I'm going to have quite an advantage over you in moonlight.
Yeah. I don't have Rolex in this, but maybe one day. They do actually have them, the 26-footers. Yeah. So I might put some on there. I mean, look at my arms, they're like a stick figure, so I don't...
No, they won't stay that way for long, you'll be like Popeye.
Yeah, it'll be a great workout. I'm actually thinking of doing that now, too. But yeah, no, just local stuff for sailing, until I kind of get used to the boat, get comfortable, and then I'll start going further afield. But yeah.
Well, thanks, Jayce. It's been amazing. What a privilege to come out with you on one of your first shakeout tours. You've been out a few times already.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just great the way that worked out. I'm looking forward to watching how you develop in the future and how those plans come together. And I think you've inspired all of us. And hopefully this story of yours will inspire more young people to get involved in wooden boats.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, you can get on the water. Like what I love is a gentleman by the name of Nick Gates. He's a boat builder down in England. He's getting a float series. Now that is a really amazing thing to watch, because it shows you that, and I know it's for UK, but even people in Australia, it shows you that you can get a float for not that much money. Case in point, there is a 1950s Hulverson 18-foot day sailor that's actually going for $2,000. Just for sale at the moment, and it looks pretty good. It need a bit of work, but if you're handy and you're keen, you can get out on the water for some decent coin. Even then, Hartley TS16s are an amazing boat. Mirrors, herons, you can, just being out on the water, it doesn't matter what boat you're in, it's just amazing. So yeah, definitely.
So if anyone's looking for an apprentice, you're looking for a boat building apprentice.
Yes, I'd love an apprenticeship at a wooden boat building spot. So
I'm sure there'll be
anywhere
someone
in Australia I'll travel.
I'm sure there'll be someone out there in YouTube boating land that's going to go, hey, I reckon that guy's going to be just the person I'm looking for. All right, Jayce, thanks again, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you.
See you again on the water.
Yeah, for sure. Gotcha. Thank you.